million a week on TikTok Shop.
First week.
What's your highest paid affiliate?
80K so far.
A month or in total?
A month.
How many followers do they have?
5 to 20,000.
You basically just offered a $300,000 salary job to the average person.
Yeah. If it doesn't make like $1 billion a minute, it's like not worth it to them.
That's some rich people
Well, like,
shit.
what?
Have you gotten to $1 billion in revenue yet?
No. I'm sure if we just keep going at some point, it's got to get there.
Could you show us your analytics? Today, done $126,124.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you could recommend to people that create their first Shopify store so they just don't fuck up?
The truth is, got a gift for you.
What do you think of that hoodie? You got me a gift?
Yeah. A new car. Can you imagine? Bob Barker. This is our advanced LED electric toothbrush.
An electric toothbrush, everybody. This is...
Yeah.
Did you make this packaging?
Oh yeah, of course.
Look at this, guys. I want to hold this up to the camera. This is sick. This is one of those...
Winner, winner.
How much is this for
Winner,
retail?
winner. Those are about $130.
$130 toothbrush, everybody.
That's the prime of the prime of the prime, dude. You're gonna love that.
Is it difficult customizing packaging for products?
I mean, it can be. It definitely can be. It doesn't have to be. I enjoy it. So it's a creative outlet for me and my team to think about the unboxing experience. That's a whole presence on itself from the brand. And we all know that when we open an Apple product, we don't throw away the box. Why? And that's kind of a strange behavior that I've always been fascinated by. And so if the packaging is useful enough that people will move apartment to apartment and keep carrying their Louis Vuitton boxes, their Louboutin boxes, and their Apple boxes. And it's like, why is there a value attached? And so that was something that excited me, was creating effective packaging that stood out. It's important to stand out, sure, but just hit it. Just hit a different feeling. When you open a Snow product, it feels different. And I think that's the first kind of handshake with our customer. So it can be difficult because you can make it difficult. Like we could make that packaging a big star. I mean, we've looked at all kinds of ideas of packaging to make happen. It can be expensive, but a lot of times it's really just thinking about what is on the package. Less is more sometimes. What materials are you using for the packages? We look at, for example...
Where do you source?
Everywhere, man. Malaysia, Thailand, China, Scotland, UK, Utah. So depending on the product line, right? It's a lot of our packaging is done overseas, but at some point, even if it's done in the U.S. But it's important to not to spend too much on your packaging. The customer is not really buying the packaging, and if it's wasteful, it's not eco-friendly, it's not driving a value. But if there's something cool to that packaging that they attach value to, we've had our packaging resold, just the packaging. And you see that with Louis Vuitton and Apple, and ours is nowhere near that. But the fact that someone's reselling a package of ours is crazy.
People are reselling your guys' packages?
All the time.
On what?
All the time.
eBay?
Poshmark.
Actually?
eBay. Where else did I see it? Oh yeah, all the time. Packaging.
So
Literally.
why do you think people get so drawn to keeping the packages? What's the science behind that? Because I do it.
Yeah.
I bought a couple Apple products and I literally stashed the boxes. There's something weird going on.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, I have 200 Air Jordan boxes stacked up. And I was like, honestly, it's probably smarter than the way I hold my shoes because they collect dust, keep them in the box with the dust covers and stuff. But I think there's a proclivity to hoard is an aspect that is kind of natural to humans. We need more and more space for more and more stuff. And so I think that there's kind of that aspect of human nature that that's why self-storage is a big business. For example, people are constantly accumulating stuff, and it's very hard to reverse that cycle. But when something stands out, it's like a seashell, and you're walking on the ocean, and you see a seashell that's perfect, in perfect condition, and it's just beautiful and shining at you. You pick that up and you hold on to it a little bit more. You're careful with it. You shine it. I don't know, collect it. If it's kind of shattered and full of dirt and stuff, and you're not really seeing it stand out, the value we attach is a phenomenon that happens in packaging. And Apple's been one of the brands to do it. Louis Vuitton, Air Jordan. I think that it's part of the product. The product has so much demand and perhaps exclusivity that there's only a few left, that having, the like I was looking up older games recently, so like Rock Band, etc. Rock Band is now like $1,500 for the whole set to buy it. They don't make them anymore. But if you want one new in box, it's $5,000, $7,000. Same thing with shoes, etc. So I think we've been trained that when we attach value to a product and the brand, what it comes packaged in also carries value. And there's a piece of that memento. And then there's a chance that you might resell it later, and there's a value to having the package. With us, it's a toothbrush. You're not going to resell your toothbrush anywhere. Not many of them at least.
But people are still trying to resell it?
Well, certain packaging, right? So certain products that have exclusive packaging. So we did like an all red teeth whitening system, wireless teeth whitening system. And it was available at Neiman Marcus during holiday. And they put all the red stuff out. It's beautiful packaging. And because people attached value to the packaging itself, we also had a collab with Elvis Presley. So we had Elvis Presley licensed on our whitening kit on the packaging, so it holds value. There's a signature on that package. It's now a trading card. What's the difference of an NFT? So what we attach value to becomes a currency. And if you can attach value without having to spend a boatload on packaging, anybody could spend a ton on packaging to make it crazy. But sometimes it's simple packaging that is the most attractive.
Wow.
And if you think about Apple, you peel back that screen and then you open up your MacBook and there's a little tab, easy to grab.
A little green tab.
And you just pull it off.
Yeah.
And you get that one hit of dopamine of opening up that new product. There's something to that. When you get in a car, BMW, Rolls-Royce, all of these car brands, think of the sounds that they're showing to you as alarming. Well, that might come off as cheap in a Mercedes. So they have a dum, dum. It's a little bit softer. So they're thinking all the way through that. And so I can't go to that level with every product. It's just what makes sense. Make it easy to open, get feedback from the customers. We at one point had with our whitening mouthpiece, we sold over 1 million of these. And we added a case on the outside of the mouthpiece so that it was more sterile. It wouldn't collect germs while it's sitting on your sink.
What was it made out of?
Like plastic.
In
The plastic. So
okay.
It's like a retainer case essentially.
Gotcha.
But it's for the mouthpiece because we would have the mouthpiece and everything's sealed and packaged.
This was the mouthpiece that lights up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So that one. We put a case on it to be more germ friendly as people kind of reuse it. But we didn't put a tab saying "Open Me" on it. So we had customers saying, "Hey, it's really bulky. It's working, but like, I don't know, my lips are kind of sore." And then they would post 5-star reviews with a picture of them holding it. Then we flagged it and said, "Oh no. They're throwing the whole thing in their mouth and going with it." And we said, "That's not good." So we had to add a little tab that says "Open Me" on it. And now people are like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So sometimes packaging isn't just like velvet and all this crazy stuff. I mean, at one point we had a $10,000 teeth whitening kit. I dipped it in gold, and then we hand placed Swarovski crystals all around this whitening kit. It was $10,000. And I got on a TV show called Most Expensivest with 2 Chainz, and we became the most expensive teeth whitening kit in the world, $10,000. That was kind of our thing when we were building the brand. But at the end of the day, everybody has teeth, so we want to be affordable. We want to drive as much value as we can to the customer, And a part of that is packaging. Have you ever gone something and you have to pull out a knife, a saw, like you're running machines to open something and you're like, man, you end up breaking what's in it? That sucks. Or you order a candle online and it shows up broken? That sucks. So packaging has like multiple layers, and I think thinking as simple as you can, make it easy, explain to people what's going on, listen to your customers, and whoever can adapt fastest to their customers is going to win more market share. Because eventually, if you go to Starbucks and you have a bad experience, you go back, it rectifies it because they end up fixing. You go, maybe it was just a bad Starbucks, and you give it another shot. And that's the whole idea of branding is it's those little ahas that you realize, like in a really nice car, I'll recognize, oh, that's nice that it just shuts the door for me. Oh, there's an umbrella. Well, that's nifty if it's raining. So there's these little ahas that don't cost that much to put in there. That stars on the ceiling, that can't cost that much to put stars on the ceiling. But because there's an experience, that means that not only can you charge more perhaps for your product because there's value in that experience. Apple has crazy margins. Dior has insane margins. But there's an experience you have when you walk into a Dior store. You walk out, you're carrying that bag. And I think that a lot of people could benefit from it. Even if you're a discount player, you still want your customers to feel good. Amazon makes you feel good when you get the lowest price. They don't go like, hey, clearance, last one at 90% off. They kind of massage it in. It's a flat lightning deal. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot in there. And I think packaging is just something
super
that
important.
I've chosen in consumer products when this sits on shelf. We sell in CVS, Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Saks. When this sits on a shelf, does it stand out? And we're constantly changing our packaging based on customer feedback. We talk to our customers, hey, did you know that there's 3 lights in there? It's purple, red, and blue. No, I see the red, I see the blue, but I don't really see the purple. Oh, we should probably call that out inside of the text. So we learn immediately from the customers. Did you know there's a face brush in here? You can take that head off, pop a face brush on in the shower, and exfoliate your face while it vibrates with the same device. No way. Did you know when you charge it in this case, there's a UV self-sanitization feature, kills the germs on the brush head. You put it in there, and you put the base, and it charges it while it kills the bacteria. Well, if I looked at this right away, it says it, but how can we better display that? And this is one of our newer products. So we're constantly thinking about get it out there, but then get feedback and quickly change.
Mm. You're like a genius. It sounds like it comes to branding, storytelling,
I've been studying
product
for
sales.
so long.
Like why you? What is the thing about you? Because what you just explained is not. It's intricate and it takes.
You got to be obsessed. I think.
Yeah.
You got to be obsessed. You got to be obsessed. I mean, when I go down, I've been doing this now for 18 years, and so since I was a teenager, first it was because I was broke and I didn't want to be broke anymore. So I became obsessed.
Were your parents? Did your parents have money?
No one has money. No, not.
Why were you so obsessed with making money?
Because being broke sucks. Struggling sucks. And one of my mentors told me you could be the one giving or the one asking. And I said, I want to be the one giving. So I got to man up and figure out what I'm going to do to make money if I'm not going to go down a traditional career path. So I got to be willing to outwork, outsmart, out hustle, out network, out innovate, out think. I got to be able to do it all because what I'm looking to build is the first layer was I don't want to be broke anymore. So become obsessed with not being broke. So that was like the initial track. Then I became obsessed with branding because it's an art as much as it is a science. Like you got to get the science things right. Like the package has to open, but then there's an art to how you even say stuff. And just like in 3 words, how can we say something that sticks? And so then it's fascinating to figure that out. And I think that's where a lot of artists end up going. Fenty Beauty with Rihanna, Kanye, any artist you could name ends up going to will.i.am, Pharrell, goes into branding at some point, because branding is like making music. And I have millions and millions of customers now with Snow that get to listen to my music, and they give me feedback. And so it's an expression that I think that some of the best artists get to at some point. Even Drake, OVO, I need an expressive outlet for art. And that ends up becoming something. Clothing line, Kanye's kind of done a few different things. And so I'm very blessed in that way, coming from the entrepreneur's angle, to be able to experience a creative outlet where I get to put a product on Nordstrom's shelf in holiday season, people getting gifted for Christmas, and they are so excited to get a Snow product, and it means something to them. And then the first response is, I'm going to take that from you, or I need one of those. And you go, wow, I've created in oral care, a very boring industry. I've helped excite people about taking better care of their smile, and to smile fearlessly in their photos, to go for the job you want to go for. Like, all of our reviews very quickly told me that, yeah, people want whiter teeth, they want a brighter smile. Got it. Especially in America, but all around the world now with social media. But we're really in the confidence business. If we can make someone feel more confident about themselves, what can they accomplish? And if you look at some of the biggest brands, Disney, Nike, etc., yeah, Nike makes clothing, but they're in the inspiration business. You see it and you want to move, and just do it. Okay, I'm running tomorrow. I need to go buy those new shoes, and I'm going to commit. It's become kind of part of that. And so I think that when you look at like Fenty Beauty, Skims, some of the largest, the Paul brothers, you look at the brands that they're creating, Prime, and they're just getting started, but they've discovered what I discovered through entrepreneurship, is that selling 1 billion bottles of Prime is insane. And what else can you do other than, you already got content? You can make music, so you can sell albums, or you can make deodorant that 10 million kids use every single day. That's kind of dope. And so there's this emergence happening, and I think I'm obsessed with it. I listen to every podcast, every video, 2 times speed. I'm just dialed in. So I'm
To
trying
everything?
to what makes sense at the time. So right now it's like, for Snow, we love TikTok. We love TikTok Shop.
And you made $1 million your first week on
We made
TikTok
$1
Shop.
million our first week launching on TikTok Shop.
Were you running organics or advertising?
All organic.
With
all organic.
influencers, or what were you doing?
Well, it's affiliate, so I guess it's paid, but
Yeah.
it's them posting organically. So we drove like 100 million views in July.
Did you see that TikTok
And,
I sent you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you implement that?
I sent it to the team, so I forwarded it off.
I saw
are
that and I thought of
moving,
you.
dude. Yeah,
I was
no,
like,
they're
I was
moving.
like, Josh, you gotta check this out.
That's, I'm obsessed with TikTok, and I have been for a couple years, but now I get to implement it into my businesses, and so it makes the obsession. It's one thing to be obsessed with the car, it's another thing to be obsessed with driving it. And so I get to be obsessed with the car, driving it. I get to make those moves in the business, and then I get to teach it. I get to talk about it. I have a TV show where I talk about entrepreneurship again. So through and through, I'm an entrepreneur. Like, that is it. And I am willing to, even at my level today, I feel hungrier some days. It's hard to kind of really think back to when I'm on the city bus and like having these big dreams and literally nothing is working for me, to today feeling like, man, I am so excited to make a huge impact on entrepreneurship, and I'm really enjoying doing the do today. And so ultimately I said, if it's not me, I gotta motivate other entrepreneurs to share their journey in this format, to kind of share along the way, the good, the bad, the ugly, like I have with Snow. And it gives you a really nice reflection point when you look back on your career and you're like, man, I can see the different areas I was in. And I always look back and it's like, dang, I can't believe where I'm at today compared to where I was then. And so I think ultimately you got to get obsessed. Making money with your obsession does help. So if you know that the path, like on TikTok Shop, if you were obsessed with becoming a TikTok Shop affiliate, that's one of the fastest ways right now to make money doing that. Like we pay our affiliates tens of thousands of dollars a month for posting videos like in their car on their iPhone with no following. So this is a
No
absolute
following.
none. 5,000 followers. Our highest one is 20.
And is it because of just the organic reach that TikTok
TikTok
can push?
algorithm is
Yeah, because you
nuts.
don't need followers.
You don't need any followers.
So you're finding people who have lower follower accounts and paying them, and it's doing really good for
And
you.
some of them will go on to sell millions of dollars of our products.
And they have no idea.
And they have no idea today. Some of them have already sold hundreds of thousands. And honestly, I mean,
Would they get? Are you paying them? They're getting a commission, right?
they're getting a commission right off
Okay.
the top.
Okay, got you. So they know, like, if they
Yeah.
post more, that they're gonna. It's not a flat fee.
It's not a flat fee. They know that if they're going to get, some of them are on retainer, right? So if they're a high performer and they've proven that they can sell a product, it could be a mop, it could be whatever, makeup. Ideally, the closer to our products, the better. But if they can sell $100,000 in sales of a mop in a week on one video, and maybe they've done some other products, they know how to create shoppable videos. They know how to sell. And that's more important than them having 30 million followers and saying, try this brand out. That or a Midwest mom hops on a live stream and sells $400,000 of your product. She gets 20% of that. She made 80 G's, and now she can pay off her house. That's literally happening every day right now. And then it's happening in my own brands because we pay commissions. So like I know when I run my report, when we drive 1 million in sales, how much did we pay in commission? That's going to who? I can see exactly who it's going to. I'm sending some of these wires. Like so to me, it's like, holy smokes.
Well, what's your highest
I
paid
have never
affiliate?
seen that. 80, I would say 80K so far.
A month or in total?
A month.
A
And
month?
commissions.
Someone's making 80 grand
80 grand a month.
fucking
in
around on
commissions.
TikTok.
Posting
Post
videos.
posting
Right
products of
here.
yours.
Just try these out.
How
And
many followers do they have?
5 to 20,000. And some of these people that are posting, I've seen on all kinds of brands, these are accounts that were like either bought or they put some like meme page together, got it to 5,000 followers in 30 days, whatever. Because you have to have 5,000 followers to be a TikTok Shop affiliate. It used to be 1,000, but they're posting random stuff just to get to 5,000 followers, and then they're posting literally a mop, just spinning, with a little sticker on it, $200,000 in sales. And so I'm sitting here looking at this, and we're talking, they're going to do 20 billion this year, TikTok Shop US. First year in market, 20 billion. QVC and HSN have been around forever. I've sold on the Home Shopping Network. They do all together 8 billion. So TikTok Shop came in, slammed them, did more than double the first year through TikTok Shop. And they're just getting started. And the fact that affiliates can make 80 G's, because at the end of the day, the way a social network really wins is through monetization. So if you look at what happened with Twitch, Aiden Ross and all these guys that were on Twitch, they had deals from Bang Energy or all these different deals that they had, right? But they also had a deal from a company called Stake, online gambling. And Stake was paying these Twitch streamers 20, 40, 60, 80, 100,000 a month, 200,000, 400,000 a month. And then Bang Energy or whatever would pay them 20 and everyone else 20. And then they got Stake paying them 400,000 a month. Then all of a sudden Twitch was like, they're owned by Amazon. So Twitch was like, cut the gambling. We don't like that. So then Stake.
Why do you think they weren't liking it? Was it because of the gambling addiction,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
was it because it was messing with markets because they had so much leverage with liquid?
I think it's owned by Amazon. Amazon
Owns Twitch.
Amazon owns Twitch. They bought it for like $1 billion 5 or 10 years ago. They were ahead of it. And so Amazon's owned it for a while now. And I think it's a big company, massive, one of the biggest companies in the world, owns Twitch. why take the risk of something coming out against their stock in the future that kids are getting hooked on gambling and it's happening through Amazon's hands and they're profiting from it or something. So I think for them, it was just a brand play, branding. They said, nah, we don't like this gambling stuff. The top Twitch streamers freak out because they're like, dang it, I just bought a Range Rover and 2 houses for my mom. And they bought it from their 400 grand from Stake. Stake goes, sorry guys, we're not allowed to promote anymore on Twitch. So they go and create kick.com.
Who's they? Is that
Stake.
not Steak does?
Stake owns Kick,
No way. I didn't know they were affiliated with owning.
but they own it.
That's crazy.
They said, oh, you can't. Oh, essentially, Twitch kicked them out of the party. They said, we'll create our own party. And then they said, you want that 400 grand again? Come
over
stream
here.
to Kick. No more Twitch.
Damn.
So they drain them, and that's where they pay Aiden Ross 100 million plus. Like, these are NBA contracts that people are getting paid to stream. That's the world we live in today. Back in the day, a kid would say, I want to be a vlogger or whatever. And you're like, oh, that's cute. Now you're like, I don't know, Ryan's with toys or whatever, that he's like 10 years old, is like top 3 earning YouTube $30 million, and he's 12. So it's just like, it's a world we live in. Is that the cream of the crop? Sure. Like Mr. Beast, obviously, like that's like the top. But the fact that TikTok said, well, you know what? Here's the deal. You can get a piece of ad revenue when you post on YouTube, but you got to drive a lot. It's like Spotify. You got to get 1 billion views on YouTube to make a solid amount of money from that advertising. If in that same video that gets 1 billion views, you tag the product, how many products would you have sold? And 20% of that has got to be way more than what you would have made on ad revenue. There's just no comparison. So the fact that TikTok Shop, if you're a creator, a content creator, you're going to stop creating content for Pinterest, for YouTube. You're going to start making all your content for TikTok Shop because you just made 80 G's in a month. Where else, as a literally nobody, can you make 80 grand in a month in your garage with your phone? And CapCut, it's all free. They make it so easy. But they know, if we zoom out, why are they doing this? Well, they're crowdsourcing content. And they get a cut, of course. But they're taking on Amazon. They're jumping ahead of Meta, YouTube. This is an opportunity to make hundreds of billions on TikTok Shop. So that's what they're doubling down in right now, which tells me that if you can make more money posting on TikTok, like 50 times, why would you post on Twitter? Like, I'm just going to only post here. And that's what's happening to TikTok, is that content creators who can sell product. Because think about it. Let's say you're not a TikTok Shop influencer. You're just a fashion influencer for dudes. Brand deals will come to you. I'll give you 5 Gs for the month. Talk about it in your YouTube video. Like, that was kind of the style. Now you're like, I'm just going to tag stuff I use in my routine. Boom, sold 200,000 a product. Call it a day. You don't need permission to do it either. You're not waiting for a brand deal. Like, you're just straight to the money. And so that opportunity, I think, is something that we're utilizing as a brand. I think it's cool across the board. And I think that's why TikTok is really pushing it, because they know if you can make more money on TikTok than anywhere else, they're going to end up getting the best creators. Because at the end of the day, even the best creators don't do it for free at that point. It's got to, what's the CPM? How much am I going to make per how many views? That's why you see Spotify did that deal with Rogan that was exclusive initially. Like, that distribution is worth something. And I think TikTok right now has the best algorithm, Instagram Reels, and then YouTube Shorts. Those are the 3 that are hot right now.
So for anyone listening, like you basically just offered a $300,000 salary job to the average person.
Yeah.
How do they reach you? If somebody wants to get on TikTok listening to this right now and they're like, I want to become an affiliate of Snow.
Man.
DM you?
It's so easy. Yeah, DM me, Josh Snow. Email us. We're at Snow, 4 letters on every place for Snow. And our customer support team will direct you to it. It's so easy. You film a video. We actually train you on how to sell Snow product. It's a toothbrush. Everybody has teeth. Everybody knows snow. We're running a flash sale. All you got to do is mention it and like it's and post every day. And then we have access to retainers. So we have a cohort of creators. Anybody can promote snow. Literally no permission needed. You right now could post a video, tag it, rack up a bunch of sales and commissions without ever talking to me in your entire life and never leaving your room. Like this is crazy because crypto, NFTs, could you really make money off that? Not really. Like it's
There was a height
like
of it in 2021,
NFTs.
but it kind of,
If you did like NFT websites and you built a lot of websites and racked it up from the NFT creators, smart. Selling the shovel. Sure. But like only a few people really made a lot of money if we really look at the distribution there. So how is that fair to the common man? Well, TikTok Shop said, screw all that. By the way, the more natural the video looks, the better it does. So it's like, don't put makeup on. Don't do your hair. Like just roll out of bed, fall. Oops. Like the worse the video is, the better it does.
the more viral it'll go.
The more viral it goes. It's got to have a hook, right? At the beginning, there's got to be like, today, I'm going to surprise my friend Blaine and I'm going to show up at his work and fill his car with 5,000 tiny balloons. So like in the very beginning, you're explaining what is the viewer going to get. And those videos tend to do the best. But we essentially have hundreds and soon we'll have thousands of creator affiliates.
You have 100 affiliates right now.
Well, we have hundreds.
Hundreds.
Hundreds. We have probably 50 that are in our retainer cohort. But my goal is like, could we have 1,000 people in our retainer cohort, having everybody posting, everybody needs toothpaste, everybody has teeth. It's a perfect opportunity and timing for snow. And I think for thousands of other brands, I think for thousands of other affiliates, like just this whole gold rush opportunity is something that I'm following very closely because it's a social phenomenon of how people buy things. And a lot of people think, I'll never buy something on TikTok Shop. One, it's a matter of time, I believe, in long scheme of things. Two, you might buy something from YouTube Shopping, the competitor. Or like there's another
YouTube
format.
Shopping, I haven't seen fully yet. I've only seen it on bigger creators. Is it not available for everyone
They
yet?
fumbled that bag for sure because they had Google affiliate freaking 20 years ago, it seems like. They bought this company called FameBit. FameBit used to allow brands to do deals with YouTube influencers. It was dope. And you could rack them up. You could talk to them right on the platform. Google bought it for like 300 million, shut it down. Okay. I was hoping that they were going to like,
Why'd they shut it down?
I don't know. They make $40 billion a year. Honestly, I don't know. I think to them, if it doesn't make like $1 billion a minute, it's like not worth it to them. So they're like, yo,
That's some rich people shit.
what are we doing? Oh yeah, no, we're good. Like they bought YouTube for 1.6 billion in 2006. Everybody was like, what? Why would you buy YouTube? It's losing $1 million a day on storage fees or whatever for the servers. They knew that YouTube would become one of the new TVs and that they would be able to rack up. Now they make tens of billions of dollars in ad revenue just from YouTube. So now when you look at like 1 year, what did YouTube make? 40 billion. How much do we pay for it? 1.6. Like that's awesome. Like,
Have you
that's
gotten
great
to $1 billion
return.
in revenue yet?
No. I don't know if I mean, I'm sure if we just keep going at some point, it's got to get there. But no, we haven't yet. I think we'll get to like $1 billion of total sales, like of lifetime or whatever, before we get to $1 billion in sales. But I found for me, I enjoy being more of an entrepreneur than I do a CEO. I enjoy it. I'm effective at both, but I do enjoy being an entrepreneur. I enjoy being an investor. I enjoy teaching. There are certain aspects of my life that to do $1 billion a year in my type of business, obviously you're going to need a lot of people. You got to make a lot of product. So supply chain has got to be super tight. And I think in order for us to break $1 billion, it's going to be like 5 products that really blow up, right? Like we're going to sell another 1 million or 2 million of our teeth whitening kits. We're going to sell 1 million of those bad boys. We're going to sell tens of millions of toothpaste, like something along that lens. We're also in retail, and retail is something that's growing for us. CVS, Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, Macy's, like retail is something for us that we're that brand that's in Nordstrom and CVS and different products sometimes. But
Is retail worth the hype?
for most people, no. For most people, no, because I think most people, and I coach thousands of entrepreneurs, and the sentiment I normally get is cash. Like I can fill a $3 million order from Walmart if they buy it in all locations. That's usually the sentiment that people come in with. Rarely they'll come in and say, I want to start at 25 Whole Foods, make it the number one. I want to sample at every location. Like I want to strategically help choose the locations if we can, so that I can have my friends and family go in and buy the product. Like that is the way you should do it. But usually people go into it with a large scale thinking. You end up not getting that anyway. That very few times are they going to put you nationwide. Like we're nationwide with Nordstrom, but we're not nationwide. We're not in 100% of stores with CVS, but we are with Nordstrom. So each retailer is different. Is the money there? There's obviously, depending on your category, obviously people buy stuff there, but you got to factor in supplying that. I mean, the amount of bills I have that I have to pay just to present the product on shelf. Trays, you're paying for that stuff.
You build
most
that?
of the time. Yeah, you're paying for that.
You
gotta
build the
follow-
setup? They give you that freedom?
I mean, yeah, it's got to get approved, and you have an idea of kind of what makes sense in that arrangement. So, yeah, then they approve it, and then but you got to pay for it, right? Like I've paid $70,000 invoices just for trays that the product's got to sit in to sit on shelf. And then if you got to change something, you got to change all the trays, but it's not your store. So you got to pay for the labor for them to change all that out as well. So from a website where you can change it in 5 seconds, TikTok Shop, 5 seconds, there's so much money to be made online now that retail should be a brand builder. So for us being in Neiman Marcus, Saks, Nordstrom, CVS, it's important because people buy from who they like and trust. And they don't know you well enough as a brand to like and trust you, but they know CVS. So if it's in CVS, I might try it out. How many times have you bought product at CVS or anywhere you go, and you're just like, oh, that's dope. Oh, Feastables chocolate. And like you just
I
grab
did
it.
buy that the other day. I saw it everywhere and I had to try it. Have you tried it yet?
I have not, but
I feel like a little nerd
I'm
for
right
doing
there
it.
though. I'm right there to getting it because I keep seeing it.
Dude, it kept staring me in the face.
And
It's
it's
some good
marketing
chocolate.
101. I'm sure it's great.
It's some good
the packaging
chocolate.
stands out. It looks cool, But that's how it works, man. And I'm sure that W brand from, was it Logan Paul, deodorant for guys, it's in Walmart nationwide. I think what these influencers have realized, and see, I was doing this years ago, working with celebrities. So working with celebrities in my brand of Snow to make oral care cool. And that was the idea, is if we get people excited to brush their teeth as adults, that's crazy. So like, how do we do it? Do we do it with crazy flavors? Do we do it with crazy packaging? Like, how do we grab someone's attention? So I think retail, at the end of the day, for us, it's very important because we have millions of shoppers, millions of customers. Like we're seeing 2-3 million people a month through our website, right, and through our web portals, including TikTok Shop.
Are you using Shopify?
We're using Shopify for the main website, and then we've got TikTok Shop, Amazon, Walmart.com.
Could you show us your analytics?
It's nuts.
You have it on your phone?
Shopify.
Last month?
Let's see what I can show you.
Sick. People are going to respect this.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
At some point, you had to turn off your notifications, right?
Today.
Today, he's got 16 visitors, total sales.
No, that's live.
Oh, live right now?
How many visitors do we have?
You have 16 visitors
5,000 visitors.
5,000 visitors. Done $126,124.
Yeah.
just today. And it is what? 7 o'clock.
And we're out of stock, dude. That's the problem is that listen, no, really, it's great. It's a good number, but that's our online stuff. But I mean, to do 100, 200, 300 million a year, you divide that per day, it's a heavy load. So like every day you've got to be making $3, 4, $500,000 in order to hit that. And it becomes omni-channel after a while. Like in the beginning, it was just Facebook ads, Shopify, throw on Amazon. Like it wasn't anything too crazy, right? Now it's like, all right, what's happening at Nordstrom, Macy's? Like there's so many areas of distribution. That's why I think it's more important to focus on selling a lot where you're at. If you can figure out TikTok Shop, become number one. Like just go all the way in. If retail is your thing, like your product has to be sold in retail, to go all the way into retail. But like I think with Amazon, TikTok Shop, Shopify, like you're pretty golden. And a lot of times it's more about the hype. Neiman Marcus and Saks are dope, but they're not, I mean, they don't have 10,000 locations like CVS does.
This is
So,
awesome, man.
you know,
So a lot of value has just now been given to people who really want a full-time job. Like the offer that you just threw out
sure.
is absolutely nuts.
If I had
It's
more time,
unheard
I'd be
of.
making videos, right? I make them for snow, but I'd be selling anything I got.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's
want to
nuts.
pivot a little bit to the people who are trying to create what you've done.
Yeah.
When you created Snow, did you start off drop shipping?
No. Not with snow. I have done drop shipping before though, and I love the model, and it's honestly more applicable today than ever. Some of these drop shippers have figured out how to plug into TikTok Shop. So you can drop ship knowing that the drop shipper is going to ship within 2 days. Because you got to ship fast on TikTok Shop, otherwise you're out. So that's the problem with drop shipping is if you got to wait 7 days to get a scan on a product, TikTok's not going to like that. You're out. Like it's just don't even try it. But if you have a supplier stateside that can move a product in 2 days, bump the price up a little bit, you can run it. Snow is different because it wasn't my first business. So my first business, I was like 13 years old. I started Snow at 22.
What was your first
years
business
old.
at 13?
I was making blogs at the time, building websites. I was building websites for literally neighbors on my block. Like they were starting a little business. I'll do the website. Like literally started there. Didn't have a computer at home, broke, like used a school computer, public library. Like any time I had chance of a computer, I was trying to figure out how to do something. Like I needed a job and I was like, I need to make money. But I stumbled into website design, dude. It was just random that at that time, this is 15 plus years ago, that Wix, Shopify, that wasn't around. You had to program your website, right? You had a HTML, CSS, like JavaScript. So I had to learn how to do these things. And because I didn't know anything, I didn't know what I didn't know. So I was like, oh, okay, let me do this. Oh, it worked. And just over and over again, I was like, oh, I can make a website now. That's dope. Who wants a website? So now I started building websites for other people. Eventually, my own websites, I wanted to get more visitors on. So I had to learn about marketing. I had to learn how to get that website in front of more people.
When did that pivot change, like switch, where you were
Dude, I
doing
was pretty young.
so like maybe what you're
15,
doing,
16 years old is
that's when it hit you and
pivoted.
you're like,
16 probably.
all right, I can build websites. Now I got to bring visitors.
Oh, I graduated university. Like, I did it in 2 years. I was done at 20, but like, I still, in the back of my mind, was like, well, I can build websites. I can build websites for other people. I can build a team that builds websites for other people. I can do the marketing for other people, get paid to learn. All that's gravy, but could I ever create my own product from scratch? And that's where Snow came in. Was from the beginning, I wanted the product literally in my house. Like Snow, I had a room just like this filled with Snow product. And I sat there and said, all right, let me see if other people will connect with what I'm connecting with on oral care. We spend all this money and time figuring out the best eye cream, shampoo, food for our dogs, cleaning stuff, and then we don't care what we put in our mouth and swallow twice a day. That's crazy. Like you pay $20 for your avocado toast and your kombucha, and you're gonna throw that in your mouth. That's crazy. So that's how I felt, and I was like, maybe other people feel that way, and that was kind of where Snow came in. And I wanted to prove to myself I had made millions of dollars selling other people's products, selling some of mine, but never like a big brand, a brand that millions of people use, and an intimate product they're putting in their mouth to trust for their teeth. And I said, that's a challenge that's going to probably take the life out of me, but I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to see what's there. And pretty quickly I saw people were resonating with that message up front. And one thing led to the next. In the beginning, I'm a solo founder. And we bootstrapped the first 100 million in sales, not a single dollar of outside funding, no investor, no rich parents, nothing. And what you learn in doing that in that amount of time is near psychotic. Like it's the amount of issues, fires you put out, the amount of like growth, like just there's so much in there. And so I'm very grateful to have had this experience now multiple times in different ways. And I get to teach from that now because I think a little part of me is like I get a vengeance of feels good to help someone else when they're in that path. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what road you're on right now. Here's where I messed up. Hopefully this helps. Boom. And it helps me feel like I get a little bit of closure from having to figure that out the hard way by sharing it with someone else to figure it out not so hard of a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You run into a lot of people that you try to help skip some steps.
Oh yeah.
What was your biggest downfall? Because I've started a few e-com stores myself, and there's a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
Dude, that's why I
It
think,
might be a loaded question too, because there's so many. There's
yeah.
so many. But what's one thing that you could recommend to people that create their first Shopify store so they just don't fuck up, you know?
Man, the truth is, right? Like I could sit here and say, use this app or use this thing. At the end of the day, like you only have so much time in a day. So the more money you have and the more money you make, the more people you can hire. And now you can get 40 people's job done a day, every day, because you have a 40-person team. So 40 times 8 hours, now you're gaining on the competition. When you start out on your own, I used to even be guilty of this. I'd be like, oh, I'm not really a numbers guy or whatever it might be. I'm an everything guy. I have to be. Now, I'm not the expert that's going to implement every single thing, but I'm going to obsess over every part of my business. And when you start off, it's easy to build that discipline. When things start getting crazy and then you're like, now we're going to do this, it's so hard, so much harder to do. So I think when you're starting out, build a discipline, focus on a few products. Like it's not going to be trying to solve every world's problem. It comes down to, can you do something a little bit better than what's available there? Can you give someone a better value, better price, better quality, better service? What is your unique differentiator? Focus there, and then be willing to pivot. Some people, man, I talked to a lot of people that were selling like masks and like different fashion masks when people had to wear masks. We all did. And it's like, you got to pivot. Like people aren't going to be buying masks in 2026. Hopefully not. But like they're not buying masks right now like that. So you got to be able to pivot. And so even when you're successful, you have to be willing to pivot. We have an entire line of oral care that we've added onto, but it starts with one product. One product that you find the winner of. You say, there's something about learn copywriting, learn these skill sets. Unfortunately, unless you got a big bag of cash, there really isn't a shortcut the earlier on you have more time than money, then you get to a point like where I'm at now, where I have more money than time. It's like my time, it's still 24 hours. Dang it. No matter how rich you are, you still get sick. Like all these realizations happen and you're like, damn, I got to take care of myself along the way. It can be lonely. You got to be self-disciplined. I mean, it really comes down to it. Throw away the Netflix, throw your Roku out the window, like just clean up your podcast. What are you listening to? If you want to make a lot of money, if that's important to you, which it is to a lot of people, to make a living, to help, to create jobs, if you're, then you have to become obsessed over money. And there is no secret around that. Now you can be obsessed of creating world-class products that sell really well, and that gets you to the money. But it's hard to see today. I don't have to be obsessed about the money anymore, but I was, because being able to buy my own food, being able to like have a car, like survival, yeah, I got to be obsessed about making a living. Once you get your needs met, you can focus on impact, you can focus on other things, but you can't fool yourself in the beginning. In the beginning, if you don't come in as a rich kid, even if you do, you might have limited resources of what your budget is, whatever. Put a self-disciplined timeline on, I'm going to give this product $1,000 in ad spend and a month. And I'm going to work every day from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. And I'm going to sleep for 4 hours, and I'm going to stop babying myself. Because I think that is the biggest problem, is that I'm hungrier than almost everyone I meet. And I have, I would believe, a decent amount of success in comparison to a lot of people that I'm talking about. And the hunger is different. Now, to each their own. I think at some point, as I have kids and a family, I'm not going to be up at 2 a.m. on a TikTok spy tool trying to figure stuff out, right? I'm going to be hanging out with my kids. But that's just the reality of it. You got to become obsessed. You got to be your biggest cheerleader, fan. You also got to be your biggest coach. Drink a bottle of water every 30 minutes to stay hydrated, because when I'm not hydrated, I can't work as focused. Treat yourself as the character in the game that you're playing, the sport of business. What do people do in a character in a game? They get mods, and they put armor and costumes, and you're improving your character. What entrepreneurs a lot of times do is treat our bodies like shit, treat everything like shit, in this like martyrdom of, I'm sacrificing myself to create this brand. And it's like, well, first off, you should be profitable. Your number one job should be to supplement your income so that life becomes a little bit less hard for you. Then it should be to make a little bit more money so that you might be able to get yourself into a better position and be able to help people. Then if you're able to make more money, you now have the responsibility of distributing that wealth. And I think one of the best ways to distribute it is to create jobs, to create opportunity, to create value for your customers. So then you get to kind of move to that next layer. So when you're starting out, that's a lot to think about. But I could easily say, here's an app, here's this. When you're starting out, don't baby yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Did you work 10 hours at your full-time job? And did you work 6 burning the midnight oil? Because that's what I do during my blitz and my sprints. That's what I do. And so I don't need to do that. And if I can do that, I know that being in that position where it's much better than your position you're in today. But you have to do it. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do it for you. Godly, are they not? You have to do it all completely yourself. And at the end of the day, you can be the one giving or the one asking. And if you would rather be the one giving, you got to get a position that you can do so, which means that you got to go not kamikaze. You got to go like so focused on, how do I get to the next step? And that might be starting an agency instead of an e-com business. Whatever it is you got to do to build that establishment, as long as it's legit, then you can figure other things out. I don't think I would have taken on oral care and how difficult it is to build market share, and there's still only a few of us, like it's a very difficult market, if I wasn't already generating millions of dollars. And like, I think that level to go to would have changed, but I always bring out the same broke kid from West Phoenix when I'm on that city bus, 40 cents to ride, and I'm sitting there thinking, I didn't even know about Lambos or Ferraris. I'm just like, man, it'd be nice to buy a new pair of shoes and like help my family out, or it'd be nice to pay for my own phone bill, or like just thoughts like this that would come up for me. And that's what got me to go to school full time and hustle and work and sleep 4 hours a night. If you're broke, what are you doing sleeping in? What are you doing watching TV? What are you doing scrolling on social media? You make money in production, not consumption. No one's going to pay you to stare at things. They're going to pay you to make things. So you have to switch it on and realize, all right, I'm on my own. I've got to figure this out. Even if you have a support system, loved ones, just understand that you have to, like a baby deer, get your footing. And you'll have people that will guide you and people that will help you, sure. You also have people that will sell you help and not really help you. So it's like you got to be really cautious in the beginning. Get your wings, buddy. Get your wings in the beginning. Bring home the bacon. Don't get fancy. Don't try to win every award on earth. It is a 10-year overnight success story with Snow. And you have to think about, what do you really need right now? If you need an extra $2,000 a month so that your life can be a little bit alleviated, don't go and start a Dunkin' Donuts franchise or something, right? Like, you got to match up your reality and be realistic. Buying an NFT and going to the moon. I can't tell you how many random things I've thrown money into. And I'm just like, dude, I gotta focus. If I'm not obsessed over it, it will not work.
Are you hinting at the fact of kids or teenagers or young men who are trying to skip steps?
I mean, everybody wants to skip steps. The younger you are and the less successful you are, it's like ravenous. Like a squirrel's got to get their nut and got to, like, I got to get my nut. And so I probably was the same way. Like, I look back and I'm like, I bought a Lambo. Like, it was that 10 years ago. Like, I was doing the same thing.
21?
21.
Buy your first Lambo?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And then realized very quickly.
Huracan?
No, this was a Gallardo. They call it Gallardo.
Oh. Well, Huracan, they were out.
Huracans weren't around.
They weren't?
When did Huracans come out? 2016?
Yeah.
2016 maybe?
Yeah.
Anyway, well, now, I've had multiple different Lambos, and now I've got the Urus today. But anyway, the car, that doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, when I look back at my story, going from like taking the city bus to having even a car was a huge change for me. Those deltas don't change. So if you're a real athlete and competitor in the sport of business, there's something else. Like, Tom Brady didn't want to quit. Like, it's like, dude, you've already won every Super Bowl. Like, every Super Bowl you have won, pretty much. Like, right? And it's like, dude, you can leave now. Go hang out. The love for the game is something that I think you'll find out in your journey when things get hard. And the harder they get, the more character you'll build. And you'll decide if that character wants to continue in this game. Because entrepreneurship I cannot imagine my life any other way. I am so grateful to be an entrepreneur. And I've learned so much. And I get to create and I get to share. But the journey is so tumultuous sometimes, where you're dealing with 50 things at one time, versus working for your own company. There's still a lot to do, and it's a hard work regardless, but you're not having to worry about finance and accounting, supply chain, everything. So when you clock out, you never clock out. So when you're in the shower, all that's running through your head is this invoice, this, that. Like that type of pressure is something that, and why I share this stuff too, is it doesn't have to be lonely. There are plenty of like podcasts and groups and all kinds of stuff to listen to. Realize that it's not supposed to be easy. It is not. And you're going to have moments where you think it's easy. It's only because you've gotten better, or timing. Timing has a lot to do with success. So just because I can build snow doesn't mean I can build every brand to that level. That's a fallacy. I know a lot. I can make calls. I can like, yes, but doesn't just guarantee that because I'm an expert at basketball that I'm going to be the best golf player. Like that doesn't cross over all the time. So yeah, starting out, you gotta hang in there. You got to be willing to pivot. You really got to be hard on yourself in the sense of like self-discipline, but don't make goals that are so crazy. Like I need to make 1 million in 1 month or I'm not doing this anymore. Like those goals are so nuts. You got to say, okay, how much am I making right now with this stuff? $1,000? If I can make double that, that'd be dope. Okay, well, let me focus on it. I am catching myself slipping, watching too much TV or whatever it is. You gotta be honest with yourself because no one is going to do it for you. You have to do it. And then eventually you build to a point where if I call someone in the consumer products space, they know who Snow is. They know who I am. Like eventually it gets to a point where you can leverage what your reputation is and what you've built, your success. And then you can work with other amazing people like I do, dozens of people on my team that I can delegate and trust that are able to get that stuff done. But starting out is when you build those foundations. So figuring that out, if you don't want to be an entrepreneur right now, that's fine. You may be an entrepreneur next year. I think that truly it is something that can be nurtured. It's just I like to see once someone has gone through a couple really, I mean this sounds sadistic, but once they've gone through harder times, because I know for myself, you get humbled even through growing pains. Like there's so much that goes on. And a lot of it is unspoken. A lot of people kind of just swallow that and it's part of their journey and they focus on the now, which is the best thing to do. But there are learnings from that and people want their first business to be Apple. And it's like, dude, like even Elon Musk had like, I don't know how many businesses before Tesla. Like no one really does that where you just poof, this idea, or they go, I need to wait until I have an idea that's patentable because someone's going to steal it. No one is stealing something that's not selling. It's just how it is. Unless you for somehow figured out how to turn salt water into whiskey or something. I don't know. I don't know, dude. Like
Yeah, it makes sense.
there's stuff like that, or you've actually cured cancer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cool that you say that because a lot of people get, and I've done this before, dude. Like everything you just said, I've lived everything because you get caught up on the idea of, I want to make that 250,000 a month. I want to make that 1 million.
For sure.
But people kind of forget that 10 grand a month is not a little amount of money. Like you're okay. No. And it's not that you can't push past 10 grand a month, but it's a big focus to ensure that you can even get there first and be sustainable.
You got to hustle, man. You got to choose. If you really want it, you can. You really can. And even if it's 3 jobs and you go, I'm going to work 3 jobs, it's going to be really tough. This is a season in my life. And this season is going to require me to sleep on a schedule because I'm going to need all the hours I can get. You got to make a plan. If you do not like where you're at today, how do you get to the other side? Yeah, you got to go through a lot of stuff. And that's why I try to share these things because you can learn from your own experience, which I have learned plenty of and continue to, or you learn from others' experience, which is less painful and faster and better. But the younger you are, the less success you have. As you have more and more success, like I used to think anytime I bought a pair of shoes, I'm like, man, I need a shoe brand. And then I would buy like whatever, dude, like Omaha Steaks. I'm like, I could make this brand better. I need a steaks brand. And then you actually scale one to $100 million And you're like, whoa, I have so much respect for someone who can sell shoelaces at freaking $25 million. Like, that's insane. Like, I can't even imagine. So it does kind of humble you. It also gives you confidence, like, for sure. But I think throughout that journey, you become an evolved version of yourself. You learn a lot about yourself through struggle. And so you should, I don't want to say seek out struggle. That's just like miserable.
But it's kind of true though, I feel like.
I mean, don't run away from the emotions, the learning experiences. Like, if something bad happened, that's what's going to happen. Like, you're playing a game where everybody wants your money, or your time, or both. So like, you're in a sport, which is business, where everybody wants something from you. Not everybody, but like the majority. Like, that's kind of how it works. It's like, hey, I'm going to connect you with this person because you connected me. Like, that's kind of how it works. So it can get cloudy. I would say, like, my best formative years were me, headphones in, dialed in. I used to work out of coffee shops a lot. I like the ambient noise around me. But anyway, sitting there and just building and attacking. Oh, I got to do this in Photoshop. YouTube it. Stare, focus, put it on 1.5x speed so I can stay focused. Put captions on, and then write notes. Okay, try it. Just do it, Josh. Okay. And then go get another coffee and be like, all right, boom. When you drink this coffee, after the first sip, you're going to have so much energy. And I like sit there and self-hypnotize myself because I knew that, like, I have to build, and I don't have the money in the beginning to hire all these developers and stuff. I got to learn it. And that's something that I would tell you. I feel like you could pretty much learn anything. I mean, within realm of reasoning, but you could pretty much learn how to do anything online. And someone that knows that at one point didn't know that. What? So that's you? So you could learn it? So that whole process for me was like, all right, I know that I can learn how to web develop. It's easier than ever now. Shopify apps, one click connect to TikTok shop, use a robot to reach out to people to promote your stuff. There's so many of them. Like, it's like click, click, AI writes it and sends it. I'm sitting here like, man, if I would do anything to be starting over in this time period, because it has never been better. And I think that people have never been more distracted than ever. They're watching Mr. Beast make all this money, but you should be popping out some content because, like, he's set. Like, you got it. His videos are awesome. Get back to work. You can watch that in your mansion when you build what you are looking to build, or you can watch that when you take a year off with your family. You don't have time for that right now. And I think that having a job can sometimes make people comfortable with, I can just clock out at 5, poof, and I can go and just watch TV and hang out, and I've got a stressful life. So other things take up that time. So in your mind, it's like, how could I ever run a side business? I've got to take care of the kids. I don't know, dude. Everybody figures out a way to do it. And I don't know if you got to work, or you might have to sleep 3 hours a day. It's not healthy, but like, you might have to sleep 3 hours a day for like 6 months straight. And like,
I think people don't realize that your body can actually handle it.
Your body's dope.
Yeah, like, we can handle a lot.
We're good.
Yeah. I lost my voice. I'm like, I for the past week, I've only slept like 4 hours. That might happen every once in a while.
I lost my voice. I lose my voice all the time, dude. I'm life maxing, and it's like every day that if I can do it, I'm going to do it right now. I don't have kids today. And my fiance is super supportive, and she knows, like, I'm building right now, and she helps me, and like, my team helps me, and the community helps me, and then I help the community build. So I just love this stuff, man. I am so proud to be an entrepreneur. I'm so happy to build businesses. I'm grateful for even the worst things that can happen in business, and they will happen, all of them, at some point, the longer you're in business. But there's always a solution. There's always a way around it. You learn from it, and as long as you're doing good business, you'll build a name for yourself, and even your name will be worth something. Why do people give Warren Buffett all their money? The name, like you trust him to make judgment in managing your money. So I think there's something there, man. I think
What do you, sorry to cut you off. What
Go
do you
ahead.
tell people that are in business, but they do dishonest business?
It won't last long. It won't last long. I when I was running my agency in the early days, I mean, I would take on clients I should not have taken on. And I just, man, the hunt of the deal of closing another client was just, I was young, hungry, like, ooh, closing another one, getting overwhelmed with work and not being able to over deliver. You want to under promise, over deliver. People are already skeptical if they haven't worked with you before. So blow them the F out of the water and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again. No one does that. No one is that consistent. Like I have a barber and I will never tell anyone who he is. I do, but like, because he's so consistent that the consistency is just prime. Like Mastro's Steakhouse or whatever place you like to eat at that's like high end or whatever, Starbucks, there's a consistency to that. And so, yeah, I think that's a big deal, man. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Josh, you're awesome, man. We're about an hour and 20 in.
Yeah, I feel like I know there's so many, my brain's going in so many directions because there's
I feel like we
so
could
many
go
things,
for 2 hours, but
I appreciate you having me on,
yeah,
man,
dude,
and sharing some of these thoughts.
you helped a ton of people. Anybody who watches this, you offered a full-time job.
Yep.
You
Correct.
told them how to start a business.
Correct.
And on top of it, you gave them the real shit, which is discipline.
Yeah.
Because you have to. I have one more question before we cut this off. Why'd you pick the name Snow?
It's, so if you think about our products, right, we're oral care, but we started as teeth whitening. So Snow is white. It's natural from earth. So the better for you ingredients. It's super easy to spell in any language. There's this kind of pureness, freshness to the category. Also, our flavors are refreshing. So there is that kind of fresh, cold feeling to a lot of our products. Mm. So it's icy, like snow. We have our kids line called Frost.
Did you have a previous name that you picked, or did it start with Snow?
Dude, to be honest with you, it kind of was always Snow, and everyone said, like it's hard for people to be in your brain, right? I wrote on a whiteboard, and I was like, it's gonna be called Snow. We're gonna have teeth whitening wands. We're gonna have toothpaste one day that's gonna have this. This was like 10 years ago, and everybody, it kind of just went over their head for everybody because it was kind of random. I'm like, I want to do oral care, like, you know, it was kind of random at the time, and so it wasn't their fault. But because they didn't give me proper positive feedback, I would say they gave me feedback. Their feedback was more like, or we could do this thing over here, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll do that. But I sat on that name, and
it's a fire name.
Thank you. And everyone's like, you're never going to get the trademark. You're never going to get the username. We have all the usernames. We have all the trademarks. You search Snow on Google, and we're right beneath the weather. And it's
that's pretty cool.
That for me was something that was huge. And I think, I think it's something that even like customers in Asia, customers in Europe, customers in the Middle East, customers in South America, Snow is just a universal, very easy. And trysnow.com was available. So I said, well, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to attach to the domain name. Is it by Snow?
Could you not get snow.com?
No, definitely not.
I mean, what were they asking?
Never will. They're awesome actually, and I ski in all their places. They own a lot of ski real estate. They're very successful.
They'll never
and honestly,
give it up.
I mean, snow.com for them, it does make sense. I mean, obviously I'm biased. It would make a little more sense for the brand of Snow versus Snow, the element. I can't be greedy because at the end of the day,
that would be
I
sick
didn't
name.
invent the word Snow. I chose it and created a brand using that Snow. So kind of like Apple, right? Like they didn't create the word Apple. Apple's been around. Where Google and some of those are a little more unique. So the fact that we built so much popularity for oral care and helping people take care of their smiles and stuff, that when you sell something that's shady, it's not going to last a long time. When you sell something that, I also wanted something I could explain in one sentence. We sell toothpaste. Got it. We sell socks or whatever it is, right? I didn't want to have to explain like, so we do this, and then we do this, and then we do this, and then we do. I just wanted it easy, and I wanted something that also my team members could explain to their family. Like, we help educate millions of people on how to take better care of their oral care, and we create products to help them do that are not available on the market. These are world first innovations, and they're accessible and affordable. So I think for me, like, I love to smile, I love to laugh, and I want everybody. Like, I've had braces twice, I had to have jaw surgery. Like, I had such a personal journey with my own smile that snow is something that made a lot of sense. But I just love being able to stand behind something. This should be the goal of everyone listening: is you want to be proud of, do what you need to in the beginning that's legal, and like over deliver, do everything you can in the beginning. I was building $500 websites that should have cost $5,000. I had to do 10 of them instead of one, but now I had 10 people telling other people about my business. And it was like, there's this kid who's making dope websites for $500 and he gets them done in a weekend. Oh, that's so sweet. I'd love to help him out. Also, I'd love to get a really good deal. So that's like what you have to be willing to leave your ego at the door. Let your confidence speak for itself through your results and your progress and your determination. People look up to what I've shared with Snow, and I've shared it openly since the beginning. But people that have done e-com know 10 years in this space of grow constantly. Whew, it's a badge on its own. And so for me, I think whatever you end up choosing to do, start reasonable, hold yourself accountable, dream big. It's important to dream big, even if it's with yourself. Vision board, dream big. Absolutely, man. Even when I was on the city bus, I used to sit there and dream big, and I dream big today. Like, you'd never want to lose that imagination, even when things get hard, and just count it as part of a season, dude. Like, if everything was always perfect in your life, it honestly, I mean, kind of dope, but also not realistic, you know?
Yeah, that's very true. Seems like life comes at us more from a hard point perspective. I think people who have that viewpoint of like life is easy, it's like, no, it's not. It can be easy if you approach it from the mentality of putting away rewards constantly.
Right. Well, like today, I wouldn't mind winning a $5 billion lottery or inheriting $5 billion from a long lost uncle. Not going to happen. But like, that'd be dope, because now I feel like I've been able to build the foundational of like having to do it myself, having to really cherish like every aspect of building a business, scaling a business, selling a business. Like, I'm very grateful that now, how will I replicate poverty for my kids?
You want to create poverty for them?
Well, I mean, that's extreme. But I mean, like, trust me, I did for a second think like have two houses, right? Or like have one that's like very moderated. But I go, that's a cop. Like, that's
Wait,
weird.
Dad.
Like,
Wait. So, wait. You're saying you have kids, right?
trick my kids into thinking that we're back to how I grew up.
No fucking way. That's
If
actually.
the thought passed my
You
mind.
might be on to something there.
I don't know. I don't think I
You
can do
put
that,
them in
dude.
the
It's
shit.
kind of weird.
No,
Yeah.
it's kind of smart, dude. Like, you think about it. Like, you hide all your fucking Lambos in the mansion, and then like, but then
Mommy
again,
and Daddy
the
are going to
schedule-
work,
Yeah.
and then we're just like hanging out by the pool, just flaunting.
Daddy,
living
life
life.
sucks. We're so fucking broke.
Come
Sorry,
back
son.
to the house, no AC, no food. No, that's horrible. No, I
no,
just,
you're on to something. I've never fucking heard anybody say that.
no, I mean, you got to think about it, because it's like I grew up so, like, I had, great family, great parents and stuff, but like comparatively, it just broke. Like, taking the city bus, like, I was a happy kid, but like, obviously, it was different, and so that created that drive inside of me of not wanting to be broke again. Now, if you have the drive to win, you can literally inherit your dad's billion and have the drive to turn that into 100 billion or to help a billion people, or like there's still a lot that can be done there that takes a lot of work. You know, people say like Kylie Jenner, yes, it helps having 400 million followers, but to do it again and again and again, there's still an act of work there.
Humbleness
Yeah, there's
that needs to be
humbleness
added.
that need to be added.
I mean, I feel like people
Yeah.
who have gone through the shit are like they're better people. Because if you
Yeah,
look at the
yeah.
Kardashians, man, I don't, no disrespect to them, but I do not know what fucking value that some of the things that they put out into the world does to young people.
Well, it's American royalty. I
Like-
mean, we don't have a king and a queen in the country, but we have these icons we place in it's a proxy for a king and queen, and we give that in music in these areas, and then you know, sometimes we like to build people up and then we like to tear them down altogether. And that happens a lot, unfortunately. You see that in pop culture of celebrities getting built up and then torn down and all this stuff. It's kind of human behavior, but I think with me as a father, as I kind of look in the future, I'm like, how, you know, like, do I put my kids on the same bus I took? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, obviously, yes, ground them. I
It
think,
makes sense.
but like, I definitely, that is a fear of you have kids and you want to give them things you didn't have, right? Because you're like, all right, I didn't have this, you know, you get new shoes, you know, 2 times a year instead of 1 year, like things like that where the bar's a lot lower. But also, how do you take care of them and build in those values? But that was a thought that crossed my mind. At the end of the day, you learn how to parent those values and how to instill, and you instill those values of honesty, respect. Who are the friends that daddy hangs around with? Do they show respect? And I think that there's more of a communal understanding because kids are freaking brilliant and they absorb everything. So I think it's more important. They see dad working hard, but he's present. They see him using positive language. Like I think there's more of those things, which means like working on yourself and, you know, figuring that stuff out. To me, I think that's most important because I don't care what my kids end up doing, as long as they're good, honest, where they could say that, you know, that dude is honest, does the right thing. Like to me, that's way more important than them taking over the family's factory business and, you know, be this whole like succession overload. I'm trying to give away and spend all of my money as much as I can. And then I'll, you know, obviously my kids will be taken care of, but shit, I made it. I'm trying to give it out and do all these things. If I'm going to give out $1 million, I want to know where it goes. I want to help out so that way I can die broke, but take care of people, right? That's kind of my thinking on it versus I'm going to build a toothpaste empire and my great great grandson is going to like own railroads and shit. Like that's not my thing. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
To each their own.
we got to cut.
Yeah, let's
Thank
cut
you
it,
so
brother.
much,
Appreciate
Josh.
it.
You're a legend, man.
Thanks for chatting.